Hi, and good evening. My name is David, and tonight I am running a session of Last Fleet. Last Fleet is a Powered by the Apocalypse game of a ragtag fleet of humans fleeing through space from an implacable alien foe. Um, it's by Josh Fox of Black Armada Games. The and it's yeah, as I say, it's as the pitch may have suggested, it's very heavily influenced by Battlestar Galactica in particular, and that's kind of close to what we're running it like in this session. This game is being run and was arranged through the Gauntlet Calendar. The Gauntlet is an online role-playing group. We get together and play games like this online. We have a calendar where the games are posted. You can kind of sign up there to join in sessions. The website is at gauntlet-rpg.com. I'll put a link to that down below anyway. But we also have a number of podcasts, as well as a monthly gaming magazine called Codex, which has all sorts of stuff for both new and existing role-playing games. So do check any of that out if you are interested. So yeah, as I say, we've for one reason or another had a couple of weeks off this game. So I'm looking forward to getting back into things again. But just as a quick recap for everyone before we get going, we are all seeing the exploits of the crew of the Dauntless and the other ships in the human fleet, fleeing are aliens known as the Geist, or simply as ghosts. The Earth was destroyed by the Geist. The Dauntless and the ships it was escorting, primarily sort of colony ships, we're already looking for new worlds to settle before the attack of the Geist. But in this attack, the majority of the human civilization was wiped out, and the plucky few remnants aboard this fleet are some of the only survivors so far. So as a quick recap, the Geist are these sort of non-corporeal, or at least two people's experience with them so far, non-corporeal beings who have the ability to possess starships, and as well as perhaps other things as well, including people. Though we haven't had any evidence of that yet. And last we saw our heroes, the Dauntless had just encountered a drifting spacecraft, a transport ship called the Corona VII, which was had clearly been damaged and was adrift in space. However, investigations by the crew revealed that there were life signs aboard, and where we left things at the end of our previous session, a landing party had just touched down aboard the Corona VII to check it out. It had been sort of reconfigured into a prison transport ship, and you're expecting about 50 or so survivors aboard the ship as you make your way on board. But before we get into all of that, I'm going to ask our players to introduce themselves and tell us a bit about the character that they will be playing this evening. I'll do the usual and go in character keeper order. So I'm going to start off with Anders, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you're playing.
Yeah, hello, I'm Anders. I use he/him pronouns. I am playing Olympia Vega, call sign Jinx. She is primarily part of the security force aboard the Dauntless, but she belongs to it's a security company of some kind. I don't remember the name. She is, people call her a loose cannon. They call her an instigator, a troublemaker, and they're not wrong. She has piloted one of the star fighters to this ship and is part of the boarding party, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, that's about it.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Yes, and yeah, the private military contractor security force is called Lodestar, I believe. So yes, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, next up we have Stephen. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us about who you're playing.
Hey there, I'm Stephen, he, him, and I'm playing the, I guess, mechanic, maybe head of engineering? We don't know yet. But Jesper Lie, because when you need someone you can trust, go to Lie. I am a smuggler on the fleet. I have just boarded the ship along with other people to help find things. I'm just forgetting Gerwin's character's name.
Mrs. Burnside.
Yes, Mrs. Burnside has just asked me to help her screw over the not at all terrifying Tempest Applied Solutions. So I'm sure that will go well for all of us.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and Tempest Applied Solutions are our resident tech experts and
they're whaling you, Tanya. Let's just all.
I mean, yeah, there are certainly elements of that going on. Absolutely. No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. And well, last but not least, for the moment, we'll hopefully be getting Gerwin joining us shortly. But yeah, Alex, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us about who you'll be playing.
Yeah, I'm Alex. He, him, or they, them is fine. I am playing the sort of squad leader, wing commander type, Lieutenant Jade Bakunawa, call sign Sunset. She is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is going to go perfectly. It's fine.
Excellent. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, indeed. Last we saw of everyone was yeah, as the ships, there are a couple of fighters and a marine dropship had all docked in the now somewhat cramped hangar of the Corona VII. I mean, it's a decent sized ship, but it's you know, it's not designed for landing multiple craft at once. So you know, it is not the battle carrier Dauntless. So it's a snug fit, but not too difficult for everyone to get inside. The initial readings are done. The life support is functional still, not running at peak efficiency, but enough that people are able to make your exit onto the ship, or make your entrance, I suppose. as you touch touch down, and as you the inner doors to the hangar will open, and several people we're wearing very utilitarian looking sort of jumpsuit type gear on, and carrying weaponry, but it's not really military grade stuff. This is sort of the sort of protective gear that a civilian ship would have had aboard. They, as I said, there's probably a handful of people, about 4 or 5, who will take stock of the situation. They will kind of one of them, the woman at the front, will lower her gun and call out, "Hello, we didn't think anyone was going to find us. What brought you out here?"
And this is to all of us?
Yes, that's yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I assumed by this point probably you will all be
Yeah.
debarking your own ships.
Well, I gotta say, you aren't all brutally murdered. I owe you that bottle, Jinx.
I'm Lieutenant Bakanawa. These two classy people are Mr. Leah and Jinx, and we are from the battle carrier Dauntless, where we saw a derelict ship drifting and did what made sense to do. Need to check that out. Then we saw your life signs.
Good. We've been drifting for, I guess, a couple of weeks now. It's been difficult to keep track. Everything's been on the fritz, but we were jumped in when we were by them, but I don't know, they disabled our ship and then left us there. We're sorry, I'm Ash. Sorry, she will not be hesitating over her name. That's entirely me. It's just I'm Ash Greenock. Well, what passes for captain of this ship now, I guess. Come aboard. It's a mess. I'm not going to lie. We've been the main reactors down, life support's holding in there. But yeah, it's come inside. And the few troops with her will kind of fall back with her as they kind of move back into the ship itself. And we've just got there you go. And how's it going?
Can you hear the pew pews behind me?
I can indeed.
Things are a little bit hectic at the moment, so I'm sorry.
No worries.
If I miss dinner, it's one thing. If he misses dinner, something else entirely.
Yeah. No worries. So yeah, we're just picking up, as I said, with kind of exploring the derelict ship. So they've just made their initial boarding and have been met by the captain of the ship. But yes, so yeah, Sunset and the others. How are you responding to this?
Any sign of Geist infiltration?
Possibly. We've had a few people go missing over the last few days. What's causing it, I can't say. I mean, it could be people exploring, and there's, as I say, there's damage throughout the ship. It's not stable on board, so it could just be that, but I'm worried it's not.
Out of care, world building question. Like, do we have ways of detecting signs of Geist infiltration up close? Like, I know we have like long range scanners but those can't necessarily detect like the beginnings of it or whatever. And I guess, would there be a point in like sweeping the ship?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna throw this back to the others and see what people think. I'll say I think my initial instinct is you probably don't have anything on a like super sensitive, like, oh, we can scan a person and see if they've been sort of possessed or whatever. But there's probably some things that could work. But yeah, what do other people think?
Yeah, I was thinking of I was thinking of because how I guess Jesper sort of says, well, this is usually we expect something. If it's infiltrated, we usually expect something more overtly hostile by this point. But I suppose if we were to maybe calibrate, I don't know, overcharge the energy cells, the proper, we might be able to scare out something out anything that might be hiding, at least narrow it down a bit. And I am kind of thinking either like aiming towards seek out or my engineer scientist role move.
I was thinking maybe there's a way we can try to check people, but it's not very reliable, and it takes a lot of time, and it's like you can do it, but it requires being up close to someone for quite a long time. You have to like maybe question them and take measurements and that sort of thing. And you still can't be sure. You just sometimes you manage to provoke them into something, and sometimes you're just not sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
I forget. I know we established it at very least as a possibility in the world building session, but has there been like documented cases of Geist possessing people?
That was the second question I was going to ask, which is we had established that is definitely something that will be possible, but I guess my question which goes to that is, do people think that has happened yet, or is the idea that they can infect people not something that's been established yet?
I think I like the idea that the military higher-ups and the governmental higher-ups have come to the conclusion that it can happen, and they've been actively suppressing it in the propaganda.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that no one here will necessarily know. It's possibly known by. Oh well, I mean, like let's be honest. The Tempest Supplied Solutions almost certainly do know, but there's a very good chance that most of the people aboard this fleet don't. If that works for me. Cool. But yes, to go back to Jesper, I think I think that this definitely sounds like a I think that you could probably rig something using the engineer role. I think is probably the more interesting one for this.
Okay. So to do that, and sorry, my camera stopped working.
No worries.
I can, when I work on an engineering job, research, repair, design, construct, I roll plus sharp. And I guess, like I said, I am trying to rig an overcharged energy cell to flush the main rig of the ship. All real words. And right, I just need to bring up the die room.
Reverse the polarity and make it unpleasant for the Geist to inhabit.
And I forget, do I need to, if I want to take that plus to add to take on pressure to roll better on this, do we need to do it before the roll?
You muted Dave.
Yep, sorry, I tried to unmute myself and misclicked. Yes, so the no pressure you can spend after rolling. It's assisting people that you need to do beforehand, but the pressure you can mark after.
Okay, so to check, is anyone assisting me with this? Because it does get you XP.
I'd be happy to assist in any way I can. I just don't know what that would look like. Fictionally, like, unless there is some, like, part of this is you needing, like,
I think maybe
more
like
manpower.
I was gonna say, like, maybe is it like I need you to cut that down there for me, and like you just shoot your gun up into it and it falls down. I'm like, oh yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
Jade would, that's a Jinx move. Jade
Yeah,
would do
I know.
Yeah. I mean, you can operate the ship sensors. I mean, you could do something similar to that, like Jesper is tuning the sensors and flushing the rig while Jade is like checking the readouts or something.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yep. So you roll first, and you're rolling plus warm.
Okay, and it seems related to the completing the mission.
I'd say so. Yep.
That's a 13.
Nice. So on a 10-up, when you aid someone, you can. Oops, I'm on the wrong page still.
You hold 2, and you can give +1 or -1 to the move after they roll. create an opportunity or problem for them, or redirect a negative impact of the move from the person making it onto someone else.
Excellent. Yep.
So cool. Let me roll my plus sharp then. And that's a 6. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to spend one of the holds to give +1.
Oh, and did you mark pressure?
I just did, yeah. Yeah, definitely give bumping that up to a 7. I'm trying to think, opportunity or.
Can you spend more than 1 to give +2?
Would that make
I
it?
mean,
Oh,
because
you
I
can
could
spend it
also spend
after.
pressure.
Do you? Yeah, I mean.
I was just checking.
I think probably just 1 on
yeah,
that.
I'm fine. Just what you can just spend 1, and we'll see what David pulls out here.
Okay. I'll. Can I save the other hold?
Yeah, I don't think
to
it says
see
you
what,
need to.
Yeah. Want to see what consequences are.
Yep,
So I
absolutely.
guess I'm fixing a specific problem, and on a 7 to 9, this I do it, but the GM chooses. It's a temporary fix. It's unstable. It's not working as well as you hoped. You need blank to complete it. You'll have to cannibalize blank. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say it is a temporary fix. You, as you're kind of watching these readouts, it's one of those things that in the general background, radiation and other things that are going on, it was difficult to pick up, but you definitely notice the change once you run this essentially this like burst of like energy through the ship's systems. You think there was there was a Geist presence within the hull of the ship. It didn't seem strong, but it was definitely there. This like pulse you've sent through has kind of disrupted it. You can see that much of when off of the readings, but it hasn't purged it from the ship entirely. It's just kind of disrupted and put it on ice for a moment. Well, say for a moment, for a time. It will reestablish itself. But for the time being, the core of the ship itself should be free from its influence, which will be useful because it means, if nothing else, it will prevent it from doing anything to the other ships around here while you evacuate people, if that is your plan.
Knock the thing loose. Knock the thing loose. It's like a wiggly tooth before you rip it out.
Thank you for that imagery. And I would like to create an opportunity for Jesper or Jesper. I forget which we decided on. Okay, Jesper. An opportunity for Jesper then.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So I think what you will get, Jesper, as you do said, as you're purging these this from the ship, and like I said, studying the readouts, you will pick up. There are several energy signatures that you pick up as well in a similar. Like in a similar range to the Geist possession of the ship, much smaller. It's difficult to pick up. You've barely noticed it, especially like I said, given there's general interference with scanners and stuff from the damaged reactor. But they do appear. You do pick up a couple, 2, 3 of these smaller signatures deeper into the ship.
Yeah, and I forget if you could remind us, Mrs. Burnside, how was it you wanted me to antagonize our friends at Tempest Applied Solutions?
I wanted some of the more, shall we say, problematic material to end up with the fleet rather than with them first, to go missing and not all go to them, so we can actually have a chance to study it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I look over to Jinx and say, Jinx, detecting some well, actually no, I look over to Jade and say, Jade, detecting some unusual readings. I think that it's best that Jinx and I go check it out. You know, I need someone who
Who can handle herself in a fight?
yeah. Well, I was going to say big and dumb, but yeah, that sounds better.
You mind if I accompany you as well? Confidentially speaking.
Now, Miss
Jesper.
Miss Jade, don't you think that this is that these survivors need a guiding hand to make certain they get out of here safe? After all, I mean, I thought you were in the command of this mission, and this is just grunt work.
I'm in command of the mission to assess the situation here. Dealing with prisoners is not my department. I think you know that. And confidentially, I would like to be able to keep an eye on Jinx.
Jade, you know that's what you got me for, right? And I give you
a
grin.
Yeah, I was trying to think if this is a move of some sort, but no, I don't think it is.
There is call someone on their shit.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that.
Okay.
I don't think anybody is getting called on their shit here. I think Jade finds that agreeable.
There's also I could be covering up.
Yeah.
Or is that for NPCs?
I think it could work for PCs, but I feel like we're probably not quite. I don't think we feel like we've quite hit any moves yet. If someone was going to push it one way or the other, then we might do. But I think at the minute we're probably okay.
All right. Jade is agreeing to.
Yeah. Don't do anything stupid, Jinx.
When have I ever done anything stupid?
I think Jesper gives a laugh at that.
You're right. What was I thinking?
Hello, this is Burnside on the Dauntless. Jade, are you out there?
Mrs. Burnside?
Jade, can we have a sit rep? We've not heard in from your landing.
Yeah, I'll give Mrs. Burnside the summary of everything we just saw and are planning on doing.
Your opinion, is the landing zone secure?
Does the landing zone look secure? I mean, the signatures are deeper in, right?
Yep, certainly. As you don't appear to be under any immediate threat here. As I said, the kind of the people you've met so far on the ship don't appear to be hostile. There's it seems fairly secure at the moment.
Yeah, a bit cramped, but secure as it's ever going to be, I think.
Okay, I'm going to start bringing over some civilian administrators to try and sort out the civilian population.
Roger.
Are you prepped for our arrival?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you prepped for our arrival? We should be on site in about 10.
Sounds good.
We're heading over now. Over and out. At which point, the military personnel around me shout out, "That's not how you end a call!" But yeah, I'm going to be taking a small crew of civilians over, try and actually start sorting out the inmates and the prisoner population to try and get ready to evac them.
Sure thing, sure thing.
And I think just before Jinx and Jesper move out, Jinx will pull Jade aside. These guys have been out in space all alone on a malfunctioning ship for a couple of weeks, so just be ready to shoot them if something happens.
I'm ready for everything, Jinx.
Sure. Just thought I'd put that out there.
I appreciate the suggestion.
Yeah, and the Ash Greenock, the acting captain is probably the best way of putting it. Will say we've got another ship to bring aboard. There's another docking bay available. It's currently depowered, but we can probably get that back up and running again. If I can. Do you want me to try and start organizing people to get down there?
Affirmative.
Yeah, and she will sort of head off with her her small crew that she has with her. They head back further into the they head back into the ship, clearly heading towards kind of the bridge area.
I will go along with them.
Sure thing. Cool. So they will make their way to the bridge. There's clear, like, there are some signs of, not exactly of combat or of violence, but certainly of general damage. There's a lot of like blown out panels and this sort of thing. The bit of the ship that you're moving through seems to be more untouched, but there are a few. You do pass by a couple of like fully sealed off like bulkheads and stuff that they've got like the kind of full on like big emergency seals over them and stuff. As they're leading you along, Ash will sort of be kind of giving you a rough rundown. They said that they came under fire from a Geist infested ship, said a couple of weeks ago. They suffered some damage to the main reactor and some engines and the like when they launched the attack. Though they said, as I said, they relayed already, they basically sort of struck and then just faded away again, left them drifting. The initial attack left many of the crew and inmates dead, just through damage to the ship, damage to the reactor, and the like. As she sort of is leading on, she'll say, we, given the losses we had, we had to, we made the decision to free the inmates who survived. They have been assisting with the running of the ship. In the meantime, there's, as I say, we suffered some losses ourselves. More, many of the inmates were killed in the initial assault. As I say, they were being housed in a converted cargo bay, so they had minimal protection, unfortunately. But yeah, with that, she will kind of lead you to the bridge. The sort of Marines will be kind of generally fanning out and protecting your kind of route back to the hangar bays. Yeah, she'll kind of move up and start activating the controls to open up the secondary hangar bay, to allow the docking from Mrs. Burnside's crew. But I will move over quickly to Jinx and Jesper as you make your way further into the ship. So where the readings are leading you, as I said, it's deeper into sort of more towards like the engineering sections, where the engine rooms, obviously not you're not picking anything up directly from the reactor itself, but you're kind of picking your way through the more utilitarian bits of, well, I mean, the whole ship is fairly utilitarian, but there's sort of more that's what I'm looking for, industrial bits of the ship. It's a where all the kind of the controls, the engines, power, all that sort of stuff is. The lighting and stuff down here is a lot more intermittent. There's also, again, a lot more, you'll kind of have to take a fairly circuitous route, as you do hit quite a few areas where big bulkhead doors are being slammed down to kind of wall off either stuff that's more dangerously radioactive or potentially exposed to vacuum. There's signs of damage all throughout. But yeah, how are you proceeding?
Well, I think as we're proceeding down, I explain to Jinx that we've gotten an extra little job to do here from Mrs. Burnside, and that well, Jinx knows she pays well.
Yeah, you think we can trust her?
Well, I mean, she hadn't had either of us killed yet, and I'm pretty certain she's capable of it if she wanted to.
Oh, she had me kicked out of the academy. That's bad enough.
Yeah, well, that's tough. But I mean, Jesper doesn't voice the fact that probably fair, but look, I'm seeing an opportunity to make a payday if we go gather up whatever these signals I'm encountering are, and get them back to her without a certain jade stick in the mud getting in the way.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's if she catches wind of, well, anything, it's going to be trouble.
Cool. So I think what I'll probably ask here is this definitely sounds, I think, at this point like a seek out move as you're trying to find the source of these signatures. So who's going to take the lead on this?
I think it has to be Jesper almost.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd like to support, but I have a -1 in warm, so
I mean, you can support, it just isn't necessarily going to go well for you.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, regardless what you roll, you still get XP for it.
True. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So I will roll my 2d6, and the roll is a 9, so even with a -1, that's a hit.
Yeah, excellent. So on a 7 to 9, that means you get +1 hold on the. Oh, and sorry, I tell a lie. Yeah, so the I think you have to you roll support and interfere before they take the task, but you can choose whether or not you give them a +1 or a minus to their roll after they roll.
Yeah.
So yep, cool, awesome. So yeah, Jesper, if you'd like to make the seek out roll, which is a roll with sharp.
Cool. Let me just do that. Bloop. Okay, and this is exactly the situation where the fact that you get those other things helps, because I rolled a natural 10.
Perfect.
And you have a +1. No, you don't have
No,
a
I have
+1
+1 in smooth. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm an
right.
engineer, but
You're
I
over
mean,
yeah.
do you really need to know how to fix stuff when you're as good as talking as I am?
Indeed. Cool. So yeah, on a hit you find it. Yeah, I guess you will be able to track down where or at least where one of these signatures is for now. But you will find you'll enter into kind of the one of the sort of gantries and stuff like that around one of the subsidiary cargo bays. This one looks like it actually had cargo in it. This is not one of the ones that is being converted to prison transport. And what you will make out as you kind of enter this room, it's one of those it's quite big. There are big containers in here, and you will spot the base as you're sort of doing as you're checking the scanning and the reading. You will notice there is one of those much like in Alien, there is one of those a big like exoskeleton powerlifter type thing that is down on the cargo bay floor. But yeah, you can see it's running. It's powered up, and it is it's clearly the source of the signature, and you can see there's just that straight sort of almost like that, you know, it's like in active mode. You can tell it's kind of not locked into place, but it's actually the servers and like are clearly engaged. It's sort of holding itself up, as it were. But yeah, I'm going to check in.
I think just before we flip away, I think, well, and I pat Jinx on the arm with my good arm, on the shoulder with my good arm. You're up, Muscle.
Yeah, and yeah, I will check in. So, Jinx, do you want to spend the hold that you have from that aid move now?
Yeah, I think I want to create an opportunity.
Excellent. Yep. And yeah, and I think so. Yeah, what is Jinx's sort of initial reaction going to be to this, or how is she going to kind of approach this situation?
Well, the exosuit is powered up, but even when things are possessed by the Geist, they still need power, right? As far as we know. So try to disable the power supply, probably, preferably without destroying the whole thing.
Yeah, sure thing. And I think that will be kind of the opportunity you get, is you will kind of as you are there looking at it, yeah, you will be able to make out the kind of battery core that powers this thing. It's, again, you know, it's industrial machinery. It has protection around it to, you know, stop it from getting damaged, but you can see it's not heavily armored. This battery thing, you reckon that you've got a fairly good shot at taking it out. But yes, we will come back to you shortly. Yeah, I think this is probably the point where the shuttle with Mrs. Burnside on it is going to make its landing in the secondary hangar. There will be a squad of Marines have sort of secured it as you come into your landing. Jade, are you going to be with them waiting for Mrs. Burnside, or will you be back on the bridge still, do you think?
I think unless there's a reason I'm needed on the bridge at the moment, then yes, I would, you know, just for the completely professional purposes of greeting the civilian negotiators and coming on board. Yes, I want to be there when Mrs. Burnside comes aboard.
Sure thing. Oops, so I think you're muted again.
I'm sorry, I'm using my 2-monitor setup for the first time ever, so I keep on getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you know that scene from Return of the Jedi where the shuttle comes in, the ramp comes down, and Vader sweeps down from it. It's nothing like that at all. It's just an old creaking shuttle comes in, it comes down. The smoke coming from it is because it's something that's expendable from the in terms of the actual fleet itself. And Burnside walks down. There's a clink, clink, clink. She is wearing heels. But you can see she's got a bag over her back with, and there's quite clearly a see-through bag with a set of boots in there if she needs it. And she walks down. A few, 1 or 2 doctors and some Marines and some admin staff pour out. Jade, excellent. What's the situation? How are things?
Oh, you know, things are. Oh, you mean, yeah, situation is fine here.
Okay. Where's Jinx?
Jinx, but like I said, Jinx and Jesper are going to investigate the signals they found deeper in the ship.
Okay. I hope Jesper's in charge there.
Yes.
Oh, thankful for that. Oh shit.
I'm not putting Jinx in charge of anything.
Oh shit, Jinx outranks him. Fuck.
Does she?
Officer, enlisted?
I mean, yeah, but
Fuck.
I think Jesper can handle it.
Okay. Okay. So let's speak to the captain. Let's get this started. Did you manage to find any of the personnel records?
I did not look.
Okay. We've got to work
So
out.
yeah.
I'll set up my people in that storeroom there. Guys and gals, everyone in there, and let's go meet the captain. So, and as we walk around the corner, I'll stop and turn. So, what's your read on the situation now that we're away from prying eyes?
Everything seems normal as it ever is, but there's something bothering me, and I'm not sure what.
Your intuition's normally good with this. Think there's a problem with the inmates?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
You think there's a problem with the inmates or the ship?
Ship, definitely. Whatever it is they're investigating. I don't like that Jesper didn't want me coming along.
Okay. Well, Jesper has his orders, as do you.
Yes.
I reach over and tap the back of your hand. Don't worry about that for now. The main thing we need to do is we need to see about getting these people off and making sure they're safe.
Roger that, Mrs. B.
Come on, Mrs. B? Really? Come on.
Sorry, we got work to do now. Come on.
Mrs. B. God, who calls me Mrs. B? Makes me sound like a school teacher. Okay, let's go meet the captain. You're muted again, David.
And as you make your way to the bridge, the captain is there. She, as I say, she's sort of wearing, you know, the standard no nonsense jumpsuit type thing, and she has been arranging that you'll see that she sort of says there's she's got the people gathering their equipment, supplies, etc. What they have, what they've been kind of subsisting off over the last couple of weeks, that they can bring with them if there's space. But she'll say there's little in the way of personal effects. Depending on how much time you have and how much you need it, I can provide a rough manifest for what's in the cargo holds. I don't know how much of it will be of use. It was mostly construction and agriculture tools.
Okay, well, my concern at the moment are the people. The most valuable thing on this ship are the people. And I understand you freed the cargo. Pardon, that was a slip of the tongue. You freed the actual prisoner consignment to help with the ship itself.
That's correct. The majority of them were not in for particularly serious crimes. If they were, they wouldn't have been sent on work release. And honestly, we were short-handed. So
no, I can appreciate that, but the word that concerns me there is the majority. There are going to be some that are higher grade prisoners. What I need to know is what sort of people we are releasing back. We are potentially bringing aboard the fleet.
Of course. It might be a little difficult. Our records have been damaged, computers, all of that by the initial attack, but we can maybe find some information on that.
Excellent. I would need that information straight away. Also, I need to know what injuries your people are nursing. Do you need any medical assistance?
Few serious injuries. We have a couple of medics aboard, but not an actual doctor. She'll kind of nod her head down to one of the corridors and say, we'd remote in someone, if we had anything serious come up back before, but the people who suffered the most serious injuries didn't make it. Put it that way.
Okay. I'm watching her the entire time that this is going on, and my concern here is that she's claiming she's the captain, but the prisoners are free.
Yep.
And my concern is that potentially there might have been a mutiny, and the prisoners have actually taken control of the ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I would like to seek out, if I could, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, is there? I was trying to think. I had a feeling there was a. No, I think you're right. I think it is seek out. I had a feeling there was another one for this sort of thing, but no, that's cool. Yeah, go for seek out.
Okay. I don't have the dice roller, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. I will send you a link to that in the chat. I think it is in the character keeper as well, but I also have it open on my screen, so it's quicker for me to just do that. There you go.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Multiple screens, two screens, multiple. This is so confusing. Okay. And that would be a 10.
10, perfect. So on a 10 up, you find what you are looking for.
In addition, I do have the investigator move.
Yep.
Which says on a 10 plus, the GM may offer you something extra in addition to what you were looking for. And if you take it, though, you must choose from the 7 to 9 list.
Yeah, excellent. So, yeah, so what I will give you, just trying to think what yeah, I think obviously, yeah, you will get to the bottom of like essentially what has gone down on the ship, with the straight success. What I think what I will give you extra if you choose is that I'm just trying to decide what would be the interesting thing here. Yeah, I think what you will get in addition, if you choose something from the 7 to 9 list, is that there will be some there will be you'll be able to find someone aboard the ship who has no, actually, no, I don't think it will be a person. I think that you'll be able to find some kind of useful technology that is aboard the ship, or useful material that is aboard the ship, that would be of use to you, and we can decide exactly what that is, when we get to it.
I will take it, and I will choose your investigation takes a long time, allowing your enemies to advance their plan or use up resources.
Excellent. So yeah, you and I think the way that this looks is that, as I said, the Ash will provide will kind of the fact they probably don't provide you with, they'll basically say, and you can actually check this as well if you're feeling paranoid, but the central computers on the ship are just out completely. That they were disrupted by the initial attack, but they do provide a kind of like a tablet essentially that has some of this, has information on it, and they're talking through it. And as you're kind of scanning through this and talking with them, it takes a little while to sort of check out what's in there, what's going on, but the what you will pick up on, and this is probably as much from speaking with them as it is dealing with, as it is seeing what's on the information. So Ash Greenock was indeed the XO aboard this ship. They were the second in command. Previous captain, the captain is obviously presumed dead. But when you are looking in more detail, you will realize that while Ash Greenock is indeed the second in command on this ship, this is not actually Ash Greenock. This is you will find that essentially the woman you're speaking to is one of the prisoners. It will quickly become apparent that the much as you suspected, the vast majority of the actual crew of the ship are dead. I mean, a lot of the prisoners are also dead, but the vast majority of survivors are actually the prisoners. There may be one or two crew members of the ship left, but they're in absolutely the minority. Exactly how much of this was due to the Geist attack or subsequent violence between sort of prisoners and guards, that's more difficult to find out at the moment. Possibly something you could pry more into, but what you will though find out is it actually is very much as Ash said in when she was speaking to you. This, you know, the vast majority of these prisons yet were not serving. They're mostly non-violent offenders. This you know, this was essentially, they were being sent to a penal colony to work, so they were not, you know, the absolute worst of the worst sort of thing. Though you know that how much that is that. But what you will find is that what you will find though is obviously, as I mentioned, this a lot of the stuff aboard the ship is agricultural in nature, and there's actually some you know, you will see on the manifest that there are actually some fairly sophisticated hydroponics kits in one of the undamaged hangar bays, you know, cargo bays, as well as a good stock of seeds and the like.
Jade,
Yes.
can you meet me at our temporary op center? I need to discuss plans for evacuating the human cargo.
Be there in a jiffy.
Okay, cool. A jiffy it is. It may take slightly longer. It'll probably be 2 jiffies for me to get there. I've got to walk further.
Well, don't worry. Take your time.
Cool. I'll be there soon.
This is a jiffy, not a rush.
So I'll go back to the op center, and I like to think that the way I've actually found out that the prisoner wasn't, sorry, the XO wasn't the XO, is there was a slightly burned picture on one of the walls in the briefing room of the crew, and it was the XO's birthday. And there's actually a partially burned picture, and you can actually see the real XO with their name actually on the its flight suit, holding a birthday cake in front of them.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And
we have a problem.
Oh, I was going to say, I think actually we'll call off a break there quickly, so we'll pick back up on that in a moment. So yeah, if we say come back at 10 past, and we'll pick up again there. I'll see you all again shortly. Cool. So yeah, I think before we see Jade and Mrs. Burnside, I would like to drop back over to Jinx and Jesper as they are confronting the possessed cargo lifter. So yeah, Jinx, as I say, you've kind of picked out the weak spot on this particular device. How are you going to proceed?
I'm not sure. I was thinking about what kind of weapons we're using, and I just like it to be something other than, you know, stereotypical blasters. But I haven't figured out what I'd like it to be, and it kind of matters to if I can shoot the thing or not, basically.
We've discussed a little bit about the idea of we use I think I brought up the idea that we use EMPs on our ships when they start getting infected. So maybe do we have like both like kind of larger EMPs that we're able to mount on the ships, but like when dealing in close quarters, like if you want to stay away from like blasters, like do we maybe have like basically these very like kind of EMP spears or things like that? Yeah,
I was wondering, because if nothing else, just for description, for purposes of like descriptions and stuff, it's an easy fallback for me. But I was wondering maybe if you have that, like well, certainly in sci-fi parlance, the sort of like Gauss rifle type things, where you essentially have like basically guns that fire like essentially bullets, but with like a a magnetic propellant rather than
Yeah.
guns. But then that also leaves open the possibility that maybe you can kind of rig a gun to fire out to basically overcharge the sort of magnetic coil in it and use that to kind of fire out an EMP blast at the risk of damaging the gun itself, sort of thing. But yeah,
that's very cool. It's not supposed to be used that way, but you can do it.
Yeah,
I like that. And I think maybe I'm overthinking this, but it's probably we're probably not shooting like heavy bullets because you don't want to fire bullets when you're aboard a spaceship, basically a lot. So more like needles or something that break easily when they hit something.
Flash hats.
Something hard.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So Jesper, is how much can I break it?
Well, we want anything electronic on it to survive, at least to get that to Mrs. Burnside. But I mean, arms, legs, I certainly didn't need them.
Yeah, okay. So I think what I'm going to do is look for like a fire axe or something and see if there's a chance to maybe cut the cables rather than disable the actual power supply.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds cool. I like that. Yeah, you'll be able to find something of that nature in here without any difficulty. So yeah, and as I said, we've established you do have the drop on this thing. So yeah, I we'll go to we'll get the roll and then see how this looks.
Well,
I think
I'm also gonna help here.
Yeah, sure thing. How are you bringing your aid to bear in this situation, Jesper? Just sort of like suggestions and encouragement, or are you going to sort of do something more physical?
I mean, yeah, I think that like if I roll poorly, I'm kind of going to end up in harm's way somehow anyway. So I think that like I screw on a welding appliance to my fake arm and my prosthetic arm, and am like bearing through some of the outer hull plating of this thing.
Cool. I like it. So yeah, if you would like to make your roll to aid, and then we'll see Jinx's roll.
Where did my... oh, here it is. Cool. Okay, and that is a 3. So I'm sorry.
Excellent. So we'll come back around on that in a moment. But yeah, Jinx, if you would like to make your roll to actually undertake the action.
So is this?
Oh, sorry. This will be an engage in battle.
Or...
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't actually make that clear. But yes, it will be engage in battle, which is a roll with raw.
Where I have a +1, so I get an 8.
Excellent. So on with engage in battle, on a hit you choose one. You overcome a tough target's defenses or destroy a number of weaker targets. You hold off a determined assault or drive away a formidable opponent, or you keep a target safe during the battle. On a 7 to 9, you choose 2. You take fire in the process and have to weather serious harm. Someone or something else gets damaged or destroyed. I say who or what. Or your actions will leave you or someone else exposed, and I will say who takes advantage. So
And I should. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. Oh no. I was going to say, obviously, if you wish, you can spend would be 2 stress to go get a 10 plus on that, but you know.
And would the other players be able to wait helplessly, or are they too like involved in their own thing?
I'd say probably at this point they're a bit too involved in their own
Okay.
thing to be waiting helplessly, essentially, because yeah, they are being active, even if it's not quite as dramatic. But yes, the wait helplessly is generally something that's available there. It's quite cool. I do like it. But yeah, I think probably in this situation it's not quite right.
Well, I already have 3 pressure, so I don't want to mark 2 for that. But
Fair.
since I'm a Marine, I only have to choose 1 option on a 7 to 9.
Cool.
And I think I have to take fire and weather serious harm. And I mean, obviously, overcome a tough target's defenses is the one that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So yeah, how and like I said, you know, to make it clear with that result, yeah, you will be able to disable this thing. But yeah, so how does it look as you sort of come in with this fire axe?
I think I'm trying to like sneak up on it from behind because I'm not sure when the Geist are possessing it, how much they can use the sensors or whatever. What senses they have available. So I'm approaching it from behind, and I'm getting ready with the axe when it whips around, and it manages to just not a full hit, but like a glancing blow with one of the loader arms, before I manage to swing around and get a blow in with the axe at the cables.
Excellent. Yeah, and as you like swing the axe in and hit the cables, it sparks, and you know it's going to drop limp. But yeah, we'll see how. If you'd like to make your roll now to weather serious harm, and then we'll pick back up with Jesper and see how they're getting on. But yeah,
so that's hard, which I have a 0, and I roll a 7.
Okay,
so not a complete miss.
Yeah, so on a 7 to 9, it hits you. And I get to choose 2 from this. Explicitly, I can pick the same one twice if I choose. I think that what I am going to go with is I am going to ask you to mark another pressure. As it gives you a clout, and I think this is almost as like as you like bring the fire axe into the cable and it blasts out. There is going to be like a burst of electricity, and possibly more than electricity flows out of this thing. It gives you a shock that actually like throws you back off of your feet. The fire axe in your hand skitters off under another container, and you are knocked back onto your back. So I'm essentially taking away your position. You are on your back, lying prone. You'll be sort of momentarily stunned. But as you were doing this. And Jesper, you were just kind of getting into position to come in and aid in the assault as well. But while doing so, you focusing on the task at hand, you'd taken your eye off the scanner, and you do not notice as another so you basically hear that sound of metal metal on metal as a essentially again a sort of this is much smaller, but it's an actual kind of almost think one of those kind of like Boston Dynamics robotic like it's probably like quadruped drone type thing with a couple of manipulators. It's clearly some sort of scouting or foraging device, but it has a couple of very sharp sort of bladed attachments on these forelimbs, and you didn't even hear it come up on you. It seems to have the capacity to move quite quietly until it kind of pounced, and it will swipe at you with one of these with one of these limbs with sort of some form of agricultural or geological even blade on it. So I'm going to also ask you to weather serious harm, please.
Okay, and I roll plus hard. Cool. That is a 0. And so that's a 6.
A 6.
Or can I am allowed to spend pressure here, right?
You absolutely are. It is not a it's not a cardinal move, so you can spend pressure on it if you wish.
Yeah, I guess I will. I think probably like I bring up my prosthetic arm and it's like drilling into that arm, kind of with this like loud grinding, screeching sound.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so on a 7 to 9, I'll choose 2. So obviously you'll have to mark a point of pressure for you using the +1 thing on that. I'm not going to ask you to mark another pressure, but I am going to say that you are both injured. So in this case, like your that prosthetic arm is damaged. You've essentially, you can still kind of move it in the gross motor function sense of the word, but in terms of like the actual any kind of manipulation or other activation type stuff on it is out of action at the moment. It's basically just essentially like the you can move your arm in a very kind of stiff and sort of way, but you've not got any sort of fine control at all on it, so that is going to potentially cause you issues. Also, as this thing attacks, your sensor device is also smashed apart by the force of the blow as it comes in. So yeah, and I think with that we are going to switch back over to Mrs. Burnside and Jade briefly. Oh well, not necessarily briefly, but
So is it just like we cut back and they're looking at the photograph? It's like shit.
Yeah, I think I pulled up a cup of instant coffee, another cup of instant coffee for you. Take out a little hip flask and pour a thing, and we've got a problem. And hand it over, and while I hand you your mug with the other hand. This is far too familiar.
Far too familiar. What do you mean?
No, I mean the way that she hands it to you is far too familiar.
Yeah.
Handing you your drink, and it's sort of like it's already got sugar and whatever milk you want in it, and
yeah. Well, she'll take the drink.
We have a problem.
Yeah, looks to be that way. Okay, I will. I'll radio Commander Booker, see what his take on the situation is. I don't think this changes the overall objective.
No, and as long as we're aware, I think we should play along. There's no need to upset the apple cart.
I agree.
Sorry,
go on.
I didn't mean to speak over you, please.
No, I was speaking out of character. So
there's also something I think might be useful to you guys in this cargo hold, and I'll put forward the manifest with the hydroponic equipment. At the moment, you're reliant on the Benites. Having a reserve food source may be of some use to the Dauntless.
I agree. That would be a great help.
If that goes back into general population, that goes back into the main part of the ship, into the fleet. There's going to be demands from other people. Are you able to get that onto the Dauntless?
I'll tell the commander, but that's not my call to make.
If you do that over open channel, then we can't do this.
I can be discreet.
Well, that I know, but there's a lot of people that want that equipment. Starvation is a concern for the entire fleet. But without the Dauntless, we're pretty much up Shit Creek.
I agree.
I don't want to have that argument with the council.
Well, I'll see what I can do. I think it's best that equipment goes to the Dauntless as well.
Okay.
And I'd like to go and report, radio report back to Commander Booker. Basically not say like but like valuable equipment. Like report on that. Like, hey, what should we bring that aboard the Dauntless for inspection? And also report on the whole situation with like, yeah, prisoners have taken over this whole thing. But yeah, there's good stuff here.
Sorry, I am muted again. Yeah, so it's been an evening for that. So I think what I'm going to ask for here, or well, what I'm going to put to you here, is I think that Commander Booker's, or Lieutenant Commander Booker's initial instinct will be that the fleet is already is already having to fend for itself, obviously, having to try and provide supplies. Bringing on more people will be a threat to that. Not to mention that if these people are criminals. They could, in and of themselves, be an ongoing threat. So his initial instinct will be to leave them behind. However, what I'll say is even if this is like, even if it's not necessary, even if it is more just how this goes, if you would like to pull strings with him to sort of get him to support your sort of thing, that is also fine. But that kind of, all else being equal, that would probably be his initial instinct.
Yeah, I think I'd certainly try to persuade him, like, hey, if we can get this ship up and running, that's huge. These aren't violent offenders, mostly. And I really think, and yeah, so I don't know that can be considered directly related to the task or mission, since this is sort of me trying to push it.
Yeah, I'd say this is kind of in. It's tricky. Yeah, I'd say probably
so I'll just roll mine
on the balance of things. Yeah.
That's a 6. I will mark a pressure to
sure thing.
Bring that up to a 7.
Okay.
If you hadn't, I was going to wait while you resolved it. So. If you hadn't marked pressure, I was going to wait helplessly while you had the conversation.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
That also works.
Yeah, sure thing. So, yeah. He will. He'll kind of, you hear that like sigh at the end of the line, and he says, "Fine, look, you're right. We can't just abandon them down there, regardless of what they might have done. If we are really all that's left, bring them aboard. But we're going to need to speak with, well, Mrs. Burnside. I'm sure we'll be able to help, but we'll need to speak with the civilians to get them rehoused. We can't take them aboard the Dauntless. We can't house them aboard the Dauntless. So we'll, but that's fine. Do it. Bring them and salvage what you can from the ship. So yeah, just for transparency there, I'm going with you can't do it without help from someone you'd rather not get involved with. So yeah, it will require, you will basically need to get the corporates on side to rehouse them. There's also no unexpected cost or consequence, but there's almost certainly nothing bad is going to happen with bringing all these people on board the fleet. It's fine.
Okay, then yeah, I'll over and out, and I will look at Mrs. Burnside and say, there.
Excellent. Well, we already have some facilities to triage the people going through set up on the Dauntless. There are going to be people here that are actually trained in the use of this agricultural equipment and hydroponics. So what I'm thinking is that we separate them off when we can, and in the short term, they can actually set up and run this for you. We can use the facilities we set up afterwards to basically house the hydroponic bay.
Okay.
But we are going to need to keep it secret from the others, because the biggest security risk here is the people that we have running it are going to be missing. So I'm going to have to move some paperwork and cause their paperwork potentially to go missing a little bit while we're doing this.
I think, I don't know if like I can request a pull strings, but or something to that effect.
But cover up.
Or cover up.
We're going to try and do a cover up. So
yeah.
But that's after we've actually got them on board. We need to get them off the ship first. So
yeah. Oh no, I mean like to convince Jade that this is the way to go about things.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Transparency.
Well, do you want to call me on this? If Jade is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think I think you forget, Mrs. Burnside, that I don't work for you. I take orders from the Dauntless. As far as I'm concerned right now, they decide what happens to that equipment.
This all works. The machine all works because there is an oil there's something that oils it. I'm that thing that oils it. Do you know the number of things that go wrong in the fleet that people never hear about?
I have some idea.
Well, you'd be shocked. True, you don't get to make the decision on this. But without me oiling the way, none of this will go smoothly. And these resources will be lost to the Dauntless. We still need to get these people out of here. But do you want to roll call me on my ship? And
yeah.
Yeah,
I was
sorry, I jumped. Sorry, Alex, I jumped in and started.
No, you're good. You're good. I was like ready to continue that conversation, honestly. But yeah, that's an 8.
If you would prefer to role play, then by all means.
I mean, I think basically what it would have come down to is like Jade is on thin ice with Booker, as is, and can you ensure this doesn't like blow back on her?
Okay.
Yep. So on a hit, that means that Mrs. Burnside gets to choose any one of those options from the list in their response. Feel free to choose one of those.
Jade, I can't guarantee this isn't going to come back on you. I can't guarantee this isn't all going to blow up. You are right. You're right. The best way is honesty and openness if everyone's doing it. But that's not how this system works. This is a bullshit system. This entire situation is bullshit. This fleet was never supposed to last more than a couple of months. And these people were never intended to work together for more than a couple of months. But we're fucking screwed if we don't. And the only way we can work together is by preventing all that fucking infighting. And the only way we can prevent the infighting is by stopping the fights before they start, by controlling the information. There's too many people in this fleet who are out for themselves. And I understand. I really understand. If shit's hit the fan, our backs are against the wall, or whatever other saying you want to apply. But this is the deep shit. This is about as serious as we can get. And because of that, we can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford the infighting. We cannot afford the Dauntless to not get food. And if that means that I need to tell a few omissions, if that means that I need to move some paperwork, I will do what I need to for the fleet.
Whether or not the system works is well above my pay grade, Athy, but I agree. So I will support you in this. Let's make this happen. First, though, I want to check in on Jinx and Jesper.
Probably
and
wise.
I would like to radio Jinx. Status report?
Yeah. So yeah, Jinx, obviously, yeah, you've just been knocked onto the ground. Your gun's probably like a few inches away from your hand. You've now as well seen this well, I mean, quadrupedal, but with a couple of extra arms as well. Robot thing attacking Jesper. Jesper's clearly taken a fairly solid hit from this thing, and yeah, that is the point where Jade comes over the radio.
Jesus fucking Christ! Get away from him! And I think, I think I'm just going to like slam into it and try to push it away from Jesper.
Yep, and
Yep.
I cannot help.
Absolutely. No, that is perfectly fine. That it's like I said, yeah, it's one of those, like I said, imagine one of those like Boston Dynamics type things. It's like, obviously it's big and metal, so it's quite heavy, but it's you know, it's not big like the cargo loader was. So you can slam into it and attempt to achieve something. So yeah, that will be a engage in combat.
Yeah.
Or engage in battle. So.
Yeah. And the dice say 4, and I have a +1, so that's a 5, and I can't mark 2 pressure, so I am out of
I mean,
luck.
is Jade's wait helplessly just Jade immediately putting her face in her hands and just shaking her head?
You said I'm waiting helplessly. I'm saying like, hey, you and you're with me, and rushing to. I mean, I saw where the signals were coming from, right? So when we were doing the scanning, so I believe at least I know approximately where you are.
Yeah, and yeah.
So yeah, I'm not waiting helplessly.
Absolutely fair. So yeah, I think you will slam into this the drone thing, Jinx, and yeah, as I said, it's not as big as the thing was, but it is still solid and metal and heavy. You slam into it, and it kind of staggers on its feet a bit, but maintains its footing. It will swing round at you with with one of these like blades on its forearm that mostly deflects off of the sort of armored plating that you are wearing. It is definitely now focused on you rather than on Jesper. But as you are sort of like momentarily knocked back from it as it's flight from you. There is just that. It's almost like like just before a thunderstorm, that sort of feeling like a buildup of static electricity, as there's just a momentary, like almost like sort of green electrical sparks start to play around the hull of the ship here. And you can hear the sound of the of something something mechanical happening in the ship. Jesper, you will definitely recognize it. You can kind of feel that increased vibration, and you think that the basically the reactor is spinning up faster, which is probably not a good thing given its current state.
And let's see. Well, damn it. And I think that let's see here. What are these? Yeah, I I guess, yeah, it's not a good idea, but I don't really see what else to do here. I think probably like I reach into like my side holster and shakingly lift up the up like a small sidearm I have, and just like fire wildly, shouting, "Get off of her!" I might have at least one of my eyes open. I don't know.
Excellent. Yeah, so if you would also like to roll and engage in battle, please.
Yeah, Jinx, would you like to help here?
Okay. I can try.
So remember, you mark 2 XP because when you reach your breaking point, you immediately mark an XP.
Right, because I have to mark pressure to help, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's 2 XP. So I'm at 4, and I roll with -1, which makes that a 4.
Yeah. So I think that the well, sorry, we'll see. I think what is probably going to happen here is well, how are you?
Okay,
how are
that's
you
a 4 as well.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think the how are you attempting to aid here, Jinx?
I think I'm trying to keep it focused on me to give Jesper a chance to shoot it, and like make it turn around so he can target some weak spot on the back.
Yeah, and you're like shouting at me to shoot it, and instead I'm just screaming my head off, and like have my eyes closed, the gun trembling in front of me, and I'm just shooting and shooting, like not even vaguely hitting it, I assume. Or maybe I am. Maybe David will be generous and say I hit it a couple times, but I assume this is not good for Jinx.
Yeah. So I think
I'm also melting down publicly.
Awesome. Yeah, that is perfect. So yeah, I think that the way this looks is I think Jinx, you're kind of trying to keep this thing focused on you. You maybe like grab like one of the forearms, and it's that thing where you like kind of grab onto the forearm, but then realize that the blade thing it has is like on an extensible arm, and it just shoots out. And jams into your midsection. With the force behind it this time, it pierces through the armor plating on your suit, and you drop to the ground, bleeding. Jesper, you unload your pistol on it, but most of the bullets hit, and those that do hit just spang off of the armor. This is clearly built for hostile environments. The armor plating on it is fairly effective against a handgun, certainly. You are you empty your gun, and you're as you say, you're kind of you're losing it as Jade. I think this is probably the point where you will enter with your small coterie of Marines. Oh yes, and that's right. So in because we've had a couple of people hit it, and there's some chat about it on the side. So when you hit 5 stress, you have hit your breaking point. This means that you can no longer take any actions that would automatically give you stress. You also can't take actions that reduce your stress at this point. The only way of reducing your stress is to take one of your breaking point actions, which are on your sheet. So in the case of the one where was to break down publicly, which I just shows you don't have to do it right now. This is something you can just do. You can do later. We can have a scene around it later when you want to do that. When you do that, you mark it off. You can only mark each option once. There is an advance that lets you unmark one of them, but in general, you can only mark each one once. When you take that action, your stress resets down to your pressure. Sorry, I keep doing that as well. Your pressure resets down to 2, and at that point, you can use stuff that increases or decreases stress again as normal pressure. Sorry.
And I forget what do the points we have in our relationships with other player characters do?
Those can be used in place of your stats for making certain actions.
Okay.
So I think, for instance, like the reach out, I think you can roll with your relationship instead of reach out you can't. But there's a couple of things where you can use your rank in the relationship instead of that. I think you can spend it for something as well, but I can check that in a moment. But yes, going back, that is the scene that you are confronted with, Jade, as you enter the cargo bay. There is a defunct looking cargo loader kind of slumped on the ground, and there is this like I said, this kind of robotic drone thing that is attacking Jinx and Jesper. Jinx is on the floor, bleeding. Jesper is looking panicked. They've clearly they're still holding a gun, but clearly I'm imagining that kind of pulling the trigger on an empty magazine sort of thing. So Jade, what do you do?
Are they still pinned by the thing?
I think it is. I think it is wheeling back onto Jesper. Though it hasn't yet attacked Jesper again. And as I said, Jinx is lying on the floor bleeding.
I imagine pilots like carry, an like a single EMP grenade of some sort, for normally for use in like their dart, if in case it gets hijacked by the Geist while they're piloting it. But yeah, I think she's just going to take that out and toss it and try to disable this thing. And meanwhile, you know, order the others to get Jesper and Jinx clear.
Excellent.
Save.
Excellent. So I believe you have the.
I have the tactician move. I didn't know if this qualified as like
I think so. You have some people. You were just giving out orders. I think that is fair. So yeah,
Okay.
when your people go into battle, hold one for each that is true. You have a good view of the battlefield and direct comms with your people. Yeah, I think that one is fair. Your people are trained and prepared for this sort of conflict. Yes, I think that is also true. That these are Marines; they are used to dealing with maybe not this exact.
I did not know the details of the battle in advance.
You did not know. So yes, you have two hold. But yeah, like I said, just in terms of just this immediate thing, if you want to for throwing the grenade, if you just want to make an engage in battle, and then we'll see where things go from there.
Well, that's a 4.
We are getting a lot of those this evening.
Yeah, and I do not.
Well,
I do not. I could mark one more pressure, but
Jesper fortunately has hit their breaking point.
Took a while.
I think probably does Jesper. I think probably lets out a frightened cry and drives their powered chair forward and like rams the thing. So I can mark 1 stress, 2 stress to give you. Oh no, I'm here. Right, I needed to roll before. I forgot. Oh well. My apologies.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think there's any salvaging a 4.
Yeah, that is probably fair. So yeah, so what I'm going to say is that the EMP goes off and the drone thing collapses to the ground. But sound of the reactor going to full power intensifies, and you actually at this point you get that kind of you hear some like sirens start to go off as essentially the what do you call it, the kind of reactor overload alert is triggered. This ship is going to detonate imminently. You will need to evacuate at speed if you want to get out safely. You probably none of the ships in the fleet are close enough to be in the immediate blast radius. But yeah, as I said, you will want to get out of here sharpish if you want to avoid that whole explosion thing.
Yeah. How's Jesper doing?
I think Jesper is like frantically prodding at Jinx. Are you doing okay, girl? I can't lose any more friends out here, and you're not leaving me alone with Jade.
I don't know. Have I lost more limbs than you have? Or
I think that's gonna be difficult. And I like whack the side of my chair and I pull out a bottle of whiskey from a hidden panel. Here, take some of this. This should help you.
Not the time. You and you take Jinx. Jesper, is there any fixing this? And she points to the reactor.
I can try to, I suppose I can try to run a bypass, see if we can't stop some of the more critical systems from going through a cascade failure. But I think that that's just going to be buying us time before things go wrong, even if I do it well.
I don't know about you, Jesper, but I wouldn't mind some extra time right now. Yeah, I think she'll just say, make it happen. And then also radio like back up to the bridge and say, hey, get as many people out as you can now. Gonna try to buy some time, but
yeah, and I guess I'm working on an engineering job here.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good.
And I'd like to have a couple of my forces support. Use one of my hold to do that.
Oh, okay, you're using your hold.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. Cool. Actually, I'm wondering, since Mrs. Burnside is still up in like the command we've set up, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm wondering, I know that it will push you into burnout, but you may want breaking point, but you may want that. I think I could radio Mrs. Burnside and shout some orders to you over the radio, over the comms to like shut down certain systems from where you have access or something.
Is there any way to actually remove the engineering section from the rest of the ship?
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not in the time you have.
Okay.
You could.
I just wanted to give you an opening to help if you wanted, Mrs.
No, I'm
I know
going
that
to help.
You can. Yeah.
What I was going to ask is if rather than actually evacuate everyone, we've got a battle carrier there with big guns. Is there any way we could actually just knock the reactor offline?
That seems very risky.
Yeah, it would certainly be possible, but yes, very, very risky. As I say, that the biggest risk there is that if you sort of essentially blast the back half of the ship off, if the reactor explodes before it's drifted far enough away,
okay.
It would be possible, but that would be a very risky play.
Because my shuttle is currently full of hydroponic equipment, which we loaded up before the actual people. Sorry, we're introducing two cats together at the moment, and they're not exactly getting on. So,
yeah.
But okay, yes, I will certainly help with Jesper. So I will roll to assist. I think I've got a relationship with you, haven't I, Jesper?
Yeah, I think we all have relationships with each other, so we all have them at 1.
Yeah.
I have a question about how the tactician thing works.
Yeah, sure thing.
Which it says support someone by ordering your forces to assist them, etc., etc. Is that just like fictional positioning to support, or like is that in place of?
I was wondering that as well. I'm not 100% certain. I will look at the description playbook in the rule book after we finish today, I think.
Okay.
And check.
I will say
But
then,
I
instead of
think-
spending hold, I would just roll the move.
I was going to
if
say
two people can support.
Yeah. What I was going to say, I think, is if what I think I will let you do with that is like spend the hold from tactician as if it were hold on the support move, because that seems to make sense. So you can essentially spend one of your hold from tactician to get one of the effects from the support thing, if you wish. That seems like the most sensible way of running it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems probably reasonable. Better idea than making another roll.
Exactly.
Although I do want to get that breaking point, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the opportunity will arise.
Yeah.
Okay, I rolled an 11.
Perfect. So you get 2 choices from the
Okay, and I rolled an 8. So if people want to spend their hold, I would think we have plenty at this point now.
Yeah, I'll give use my tactician thing to give you +1. Bring that up to a 9, and then Burnside has 2.
Yep, I'll spend 1 to bring it up to 10. I'm also going to redirect the negative impact of the move away from. In this case, I'd like to actually redirect it away from the hydroponic equipment and onto the crew.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, there won't be so because this is there's kind of no, because it's a 10+.
Okay.
There won't be any.
I'll create an opportunity.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so I think how this will look is with that concerted effort between all of you, you will be able to stop or at least stall the overload of the reactor. This will give you enough time to get the hydroponic equipment and the crew of the ship off, or well, the people aboard the ship off. It will buy you enough time to do that, and as well, you will, if you still wish to, bring back one or more of these possessed robot things.
Well, that sounds like a good idea to Jesper.
You will basically still have time to do that. If you hadn't been able to make that review and you got a partial success, then we'd have had to get into the whole chicken and corn and fox type situation where you're trying to work out what you can get off. But with that, you will actually have, with both getting a full success on that roll and an additional opportunity, you will be able to get essentially everything you came here for.
Yeah, Jesper's loading it up.
Awesome. And so I think where we will, well, not quite where we will leave it, but I think we'll get into that montage of like people running to the shuttles and loading stuff up and getting sort of, flying off back to the Dauntless. And I think we'll probably get that sort of the way that the moment looks is like just as the fleet is making the jump to light speed, and it is the moment where we see the big explosion emanating out from the center of the Corona VII, and the blast expanding out from that. But yeah, I would just like to get from each one of you just one last little vignette of how things are for you when you get back aboard the Dauntless, and then we will leave it there for the evening. So yeah, I'll go back just in character keeper order again. Jinx, how do you look when you get back aboard the Dauntless?
I think. Ooh. How badly injured am I?
You're probably going to have to spend some time in the medical bay. You probably are going to have some like surgery done. You can probably be patched up well enough that you can fly your own fighter back if you so wish, or if you would rather be kind of just stretched out, then it can be towed essentially. But
yeah, I think I'm badly enough banged up that they won't let me fly back on my own. But I'm before they load me onto this stretcher, or actually they're like carrying me on towards the shuttle. I'm grabbing for that whiskey bottle and bringing it with me, taking a swig before they put me down on the stretcher. And I still have it with me, but with a lot less contents when they bring me aboard on the Dauntless.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And Jesper.
Yeah, I think I think we see Jesper kind of pale and keeping an eye on Jinx. And I think that like you better not die on me, Jinx. Who else would I wouldn't have anyone to drink with in that case. And I do kind of want to, even though this is a closing moment, I was wondering if I could make a trigger reach out here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've not seen one of these yet, so yeah, go ahead with that. So when you reach out to someone who matters to you, choose one or more.
I'm sharing my feelings about them.
Excellent. So yeah, Jinx, how do you respond to this?
Oof. So I have to look at the move.
Oh, so yeah, basically, do you respond positively to their words? Yeah,
positively,
cool.
yeah.
Perfect.
I don't push away. I just I have lost a lot of blood and I'm a bit drunk, but yeah.
Cool. And I get a 3.
Sorry?
Oh no, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just mumbling.
No, I get you. But I get a 3, David. So however you want to use that, or if you want to keep it in mind for next session.
Yeah, I think we'll keep that in mind for next session. I kind of give you a sad smile and don't ask for the bottle back though. Excellent. Thank you. And Jade, how about you?
I think Jade actually comes in shortly after and basically like hand on Jesper's shoulder, like, okay, you can go now. And then once she's alone with Jinx, she just says, call for backup next time instead of getting other people hurt. And then she's gonna take the whiskey bottle.
She got herself hurt though.
She's going and then she'll leave, call Mrs. Burnside and say, hey, I've got a third of a bottle of good whiskey here, if you have a mind to share.
You know what? I'll be right down. And she'll come down, and you can smell that she's already been in the sauce. She's left other people to actually set up and get things sorted, and you can see she's shaking a little bit. And you got whiskey? And she'll take the bottle from you, go look at the glass, and then just and she's shaking.
Does she drink the entire thing?
No, she goes to drink the entire thing, but if you take it from her,
yeah. Seems like you've had enough already. This is mine.
I almost left them to die.
Let's go somewhere quieter.
And she is just the normal persona she puts on is just melted away, and she is just, and you can see she's been crying.
Excellent. Perfect. And I think that's where we'll leave things for tonight. And next time we will pick up with the aftermath of this, and we should have some fun hijinks as people deal with the outcome of all this. But thank you very much, everyone. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good to pick this back up again, and I'm looking forward to the rest of our run. So I will see you all next time.